More than 100 people once lived inside these walls. Then, without warning, all of them were gone. They left behind no bodies, no signs of a fight, and only a single carved word. More than 400 years later, this remains one of the oldest unsolved mysteries in American history.
The mystery isn't just where they went. It's why they left behind almost no trace of leaving at all.
A handful of tiny iron flakes, buried for centuries, may finally be rewriting this entire story. This is the story of America's first lost colony, and the evidence that may have finally found it.
How does an entire settlement of more than 100 people disappear without a single confirmed grave?
One side of the ocean was full of hope for a new colony. The other side held only silence.
So what is the hidden truth behind this centuries-old, still debated mystery?
To understand what happened, we have to go back to 1587 and England's risky gamble in the New World. England was racing to claim territory in the New World before its rival, Spain, could take it all.
An earlier English attempt to settle the same coastline had already ended badly, just 2 years before.
Here, this symbol confirms it. They bypassed the fort entirely and headed straight for the uncharted territory near the river fork.
They arrived on a small island off the Carolina coast and began building a new home from nothing.
Nearby, established coastal communities watched the newcomers arrive, with a mix of curiosity and caution.
These streets hold the echoes of a time long past, much like the roles we play.
The weight of this new world rests heavy upon my soul.
Someone would have to sail back to England and hope to return before conditions grew any worse.
The colony's governor reluctantly agreed to sail back to England himself, leaving his own family behind.
In 1587, he set sail for England, promising to return with fresh supplies as quickly as possible.
The river provided fresh water, naturally, but the placement of the palisade, right here, suggests they feared something other than the tides.
Every available ship, including the one meant to resupply the colony, was ordered to stay and defend the country. For 3 long years, he was unable to secure passage back to the colony he had left behind. In 1590, he finally secured a voyage back across the Atlantic, desperate to see his family again.
As the ship approached the island, no smoke rose from the settlement, and no one came to greet them.
He found the settlement completely abandoned, with houses carefully dismantled rather than destroyed.
The only clue left behind was a single word, carefully carved into a post at the entrance.
There was no sign of violence, no bodies, and no evidence anyone had been taken by force. The absence of a specific distress symbol he'd agreed upon gave him a small measure of hope.
Before he left, the colonists had agreed that a nearby island might become their new destination if trouble arose.
That single carved word suggested a plan, not a tragedy, Tay. A deliberate move, not a disappearance.
He tried to sail toward that island to search further, but a violent storm forced his ship back out to sea.
That storm ended the search in 1590. It would be centuries before anyone picked it back up seriously.
He recorded everything he found in careful detail, hoping someone might one day complete the search he couldn't.
And because so little was ever confirmed, the story grew into one of America's most enduring legends.
No confirmed remains were ever found. No definitive proof ever surfaced for centuries.
Explorers, historians, and colonists themselves searched for clues for more than 2 centuries, without success. Its real legacy became a mystery that grew larger with every generation that failed to solve it. Here is the detail that changes everything. The colonists had also agreed on a symbol for danger and never carved it. If they had been in immediate danger, they were supposed to carve a cross. They didn't.
Beginning in the late 1990s, archaeologists began a long-term project focused on the island named in that carving.
That project searched for physical proof that the missing colonists had actually settled there.
Over the years, researchers uncovered English-style artifacts mixed among items used by the local Croatoan community. Rings, tools, and gun parts, all consistent with English manufacture, kept surfacing on the same small island. In 2025, researchers uncovered tiny iron flakes, a telltale byproduct of blacksmithing, buried beneath centuries of soil.
That single discovery strongly suggested the colonists themselves had been forging tools right there on that island.
Every artifact recovered pointed the same direction. Not disappearance, but relocation. And because the physical evidence kept accumulating in one place, the theory grew steadily more convincing.
It's a complete reversal of the tragic disappearance story that dominated this mystery for centuries.
But the physical evidence alone doesn't explain why this mystery gripped the public for so many centuries. Decades of careful excavation have quietly built one of the most detailed archaeological records in early American history. Careful dating techniques confirmed many recovered items matched the exact period of the missing colonists. English tools were found mixed directly alongside items used by the local community, layer upon layer.
Fittings from English sailing equipment suggested the colonists brought or repaired their own gear on site.
The careful layering of these artifacts suggested years of shared daily life, not a single hurried visit. Behind the scenes, this has quietly become one of the most patient archaeological projects in American history. Advanced imaging later revealed hidden markings on the governor's own original map, corrected and layered over time. Those hidden markings pointed toward an inland location, suggesting the group may have split in two directions. One group may have moved south to join the coastal community. Another may have moved inland entirely.
These aren't just old artifacts. They are quiet proof of a story far calmer than centuries of legends suggested.
A story with no clear ending leaves a space when the mind can't help but try to fill with its own explanation.
Analyzing the past is like walking through this fog. The further back you look, the clearer the patterns become, yet the details remain obscured.
Countless books, plays, and documentaries have tried to imagine what really happened on that island.
This isn't just about where a colony went. It's about how uncomfortable it feels, not knowing an ending.
Every new artifact offers researchers a small, genuine feeling of finally closing part of the gap.
That's a rare kind of staying power for a single story, and it's exactly why it refuses to fade away.
Other early colonies faded quietly from memory. This one became a permanent part of the national imagination. And a mystery that endures this long, without ever fully closing, becomes something close to national folklore.
Let's break down exactly how modern researchers approached a 400-year-old cold case.
Long-running archaeological projects, some spanning decades, carefully mapped the entire coastal region.
Each decade added a new layer of evidence, slowly shifting the leading theory away from tragedy. Ongoing genetic studies among regional communities continue exploring possible historical connections to the colonists.
Recovered artifacts are now preserved and displayed, allowing the public to see the physical evidence firsthand.
Historians and archaeologists regularly present updated findings at academic conferences and public lectures.
Documentary crews continue returning to the site, introducing the case to new audiences around the world. It's not one dig site anymore. It's an entire, patient research effort spanning decades and disciplines.
And every new piece of evidence reinforces the same, quietly reassuring conclusion. They likely simply moved on.
This is a mystery modern science has spent decades chipping away at, one careful discovery at a time. But no mystery this old stays free of competing theories and unanswered questions.
One long-standing theory proposed the colonists were killed in a conflict, though no mass grave has ever been found.
Environmental studies later revealed a severe drought struck the region during exactly these years, adding weight to theories of hardship and forced relocation.
Even among researchers who agree on relocation, debate continues over exactly which direction different groups went.
Decades of searches across both the coastal and inland candidate sites have never produced conclusive final proof.
Even dedicated researchers acknowledge that absolute certainty may never be fully possible after 4 centuries.
Researchers have been careful to describe recent findings as strong evidence, not absolute final proof. And yet, the mystery never truly disappeared. It simply moved from legend toward careful, evidence-based history. Now, ongoing genetic research quietly offers new hope for finally confirming direct historical connections.
Digital reconstructions of the settlement continue, helping researchers visualize daily life on the island. New non-invasive scanning technology continues searching promising inland sites without disturbing the land. New candidate sites continue to be identified, each one a fresh opportunity to close remaining gaps in the story. New generations of archaeologists keep the search alive, more than 4 centuries after the colony vanished.
For those who've devoted careers to this mystery, each new clue feels like a small act of quiet justice.
This mystery isn't just surviving the passage of time. It's quietly moving closer to its true final chapter.
But the biggest lesson here has nothing to do with a carved word on a post at all. This mystery may prove that the lost colony was never truly lost at all, only quietly absorbed into a larger story.
A single small object, buried for centuries, still quietly holds more answers than the legend ever allowed.
The lesson isn't just for historians. It's for anyone who has ever needed to know how a story truly ends.
Sometimes the most enduring legends are simply waiting for patient enough evidence to finally catch up.
And somewhere along this coastline, their story quietly continued, long after the world assumed it had ended. This is the story of America's oldest lost colony, and the quiet evidence that may have finally brought them home.